stomping in the house, especially rage stomping. You know, the kind where your kid gets in trouble for something and they stomp all the way to their room. Well, our kid had made this a little bit of a habit, and before she could stomp away, I said, if you stomp away from me one more time, I am going to rip your legs off. She looked at me, she turned, and she stomped away.
She's still got legs.
Hi, I'm Lene.
And I'm Jordan, and this is
Bourbon and Babies. Okay, guys, before we get started with the episode today, we have a quick and super awesome contest coming up. We are looking for more reviews on iTunes or any of the other podcast listening apps that you use. So here's the deal. For every 10 new reviews that we get between now and December 1st, we are going to give away a $10 Amazon gift card. So how do you get it? First, go onto your podcast app, write out a review, take a screenshot of it or take a picture of it if it's on your computer, and post it on the Bourbon and Babies podcast page or the Bourbon and Babies Straight Up Parenting on the Rocks parenting group. We will see it and we will add you in to the drawing every time we get 10 new reviews. So write that review, send us a pic, and win that money.
All right, here we are. It's episode 6 of Bourbon and Babies.
And today's episode is Empty Threats.
Empty Threats. And we have a special guest today. We have Brittany Franks with us from Believe Cakes and More. She has these delicious bourbon ball cupcakes. I'm going to eat one of these delicious cupcakes, which I'm not supposed to have because our family is doing no sugar for October, so we're totally failing right now.
We are failures. Sorry.
Well, I am super excited to taste this cupcake, but first, I gotta take care of the bourbon. Today, we're tasting out a Boone County 1833 12-year bourbon that I got as a birthday present from my fantastic cousins, Seth and Danny. And this is an award-winning 93-point double gold medal bourbon that's made up of 75% corn, 21% rye, and 4% malted barley.
So, what are some of the flavor notes that we should be experiencing?
So we should taste some pepper and spice, some nutty coffee, vanilla, and brown sugar.
Okay. And what about on the smell?
Okay,
I
smell
brown sugar, for sure.
I smell bourbon. It smells real good.
All right, let's taste it.
All right.
Do it. I'm sorry, Brittany, you can't partake, but she has a beautiful baby on the way.
She's got a cake in the oven.
Okay, so I will just live vicariously and smell the bourbon.
Ooh, wait, there's this flavor. I don't want to call it weird, but it was unexpected on the back of my tongue. It was not like that caramelly, nutty thing that I'm used to. It hold on. It almost has like a sour. And that's not in a bad way. Like, I love sour beers, and I guess that mash might be a little bit similar, but it has almost like a citrus on the back of my tongue. Do you taste that?
Interesting. I bet bourbon experts would tell us what it is you're experiencing right now and what the real
It
words
must
are
be
for it.
leather and tobacco.
All the extra
and
fun
earth.
things.
Anyway, this bourbon is delicious. And what do you pay for this bourbon?
So this bourbon, when in stock, retails for $51.99.
Wow, so it's pretty...
So my cousin really loves me.
Right, okay, his birthday's coming up. You better...
Thanks, guys. Boone County, 1833. Give it one word. Describe it. Adjective.
Bourbon.
Be creative.
Good bourbon.
Wow. Special.
All right. Can we get to the show? Let's get to the show.
All right, let's get to the show.
All right, so we've all been there. Our kids are doing something that's either annoying us or that they shouldn't be doing, or they're not doing something they should be doing. And we have these things that we throw out there. Some of them are things we swore we would never say, and others are things that we realize afterwards, I probably shouldn't have said that. You have things like this?
Oh, yes. My little girl, her room is a constant state of disarray. A lot of the times it's clothes. The basic thread, it starts with, you're going to have to do your own laundry. And then after that, I'm like, or you're going to run out of clothes and you'll have to wear the same outfit over and over. Or if you don't put them away, I'll give them away.
Wow. So how many of those are you willing to follow through on? How many of those have you followed through on?
We try to make her do her own laundry. I will say, in her defense, like, she's too short
Right.
to fully do the laundry. So then it becomes like we've had a night where we've literally had to sit all night and watch her sort out laundry one article of clothing at a time. And I was like,
That's good parenting.
this is more frustrating than just doing it myself.
Right, but that's commitment. That's how she's going to learn. You follow through.
And we are
awesome.
both hard-headed, so it doesn't help.
Aw,
But yeah.
so sorry.
Yeah.
The clothes thing, man. My mom, when I was a kid, she would do laundry and she would put the folded clothes on my bed in my room. And I hate putting clothes away. To this day, I hate putting clothes away. Ask Jordan. There's probably
There's a
hamper
basket.
of laundry in our room right now that has folded clothes
And one
in
at
it.
the top of the stairs.
In
One of the
solidarity.
dumpsters. I'm the worst. I was the worst then too. And I would just pick the whole pile up and put them right back in the laundry basket. And my mom would get so mad. And finally one day she was like, that's it. I'm done. You're old enough to reach into the bottom of the washing machine yourself. I'm not doing another load of laundry for you. And I'm pretty sure she didn't.
Is
Yeah.
that why our hamper is always so full?
Yeah. I just pick them right up and put them right back. No, I don't
You
do that
suck.
anymore. I learned my lesson.
Yeah, the rule
And
at
I
our
learned how to
house-
do laundry.
Yeah, the rule at our house is as long as you bring your laundry basket down before it's overflowing, your laundry will be done.
Nice.
That's a good rule. I like that.
I can't take credit. My husband came up with that one.
That's a good one.
Well, it's not just laundry, though, too. I think this transfers to anything. Like, they don't put their clothes away, you'll give them away if they don't put their shit up. And I had this conversation yesterday with my daughter. Her playroom was the messiest I have ever seen in my entire life. It looked like every bucket of toys, she had just dumped them on the floor, and they were everywhere. And I told her, next time that these are like this, I'm going to come through with a garbage bag, and I am going to fill up this bag and literally throw them away.
How did she respond?
She just sat there really quietly looking at me like, okay.
But did you get the garbage bag?
Well,
That was just yesterday,
no,
so we
it
don't
was
know.
just yesterday.
Oh, okay.
It is
Okay.
still clean right now because I helped her clean it up. It looks beautiful right now. It will stay that way for probably 10 more minutes. But I am 100% serious because she has so much crap in there that she does not even need or play with. If I see it just laying on the floor, I'm just going to go through with a garbage bag and I'm going to start throwing it away.
Yeah, and see, I'm okay with that because I love throwing stuff away.
My trick that I've done to kind of be able to follow through on my thread is I'm like, if you don't, I'm going to throw it away. So as soon as they see me coming upstairs with a white garbage bag, my daughter runs to her room and screams, no, don't. So I try to find like the most minuscule things first just to show like I'm serious, even though I'm throwing stuff away that need to be thrown away anyway.
It's like a wrapper on the floor.
Right. Basically, I'm like, I start with that and I'm like, okay, I'll give you 10 more minutes. If it's not done, I'm coming back with the garbage bag.
This is the tricky part, though. Sometimes we say things out of just anger or frustration, and we totally cannot follow through on them. My parents were notorious for I brought you into this world, I can take you out. And I guess I probably was about 10 when I finally figured out that, like, they aren't going to murder me. That's not going to happen.
They might
Courts
keep
are
you
against
around.
that. It is
Yeah.
heavily frowned upon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh, one I do with my son when he's bugging me or something, I'm like, do you want to be fed? And he'll start messing with me and I'm like, do you want dinner? Do you want to be fed? And
Do you like eating?
Yeah, he'll slowly back away. He goes, okay.
Yeah, I mean, that's like the don't make me beat you in public. They know that we are actually not going to beat them in public. They know that we are going to probably feed them.
Yeah.
But at least they know that, like, I'm on the verge. I'm on the
Yes.
verge of some bad stuff about to go down.
See, food is serious to me, so that threat right there is the scariest thing that you could possibly say to me. So that totally would have worked.
And food is serious for our kids too. They don't mess around.
don't mess
They
around.
love the food. We have like a whole episode coming on food because our kids are difficult.
My parents used to pull the whole, they're starving children. Like,
Yeah.
why aren't you eating? They're starving.
That's
I'm
legit,
like,
though.
okay. Yeah, like, I tried one time with Zoe, like, you're going to have to sit there until you finish it. And she won.
How long was she there?
Probably an hour. But here's the thing, too, is Zoe, because she won't just sit there. She's hanging out of the chair. She's playing with the cat with her foot.
Yeah.
It's not just sitting there. And then watching her do all those little things, I was like, just go to bed. Just go to bed.
You win.
Yeah, I was like,
Peace.
go. I was like, at least it wasn't, I didn't let her play afterwards or anything, but yeah, I was like, whatever, I tap out.
I also love threats that aren't actually threats. They're just straight up lies. Like if you roll your eyes, they're going to stick that way.
I heard that one.
It totally
point
happens.
at what point do the kids realize? Or if you make that face again, it's going to stick that way.
Have you not seen One Crazy Summer, John Cusack? No? And the girls who, they say if you make a face and you tap them on the back while they're making the face, it sticks that way. And it totally happened in the movie, so it's gotta be real.
I mean, if you say so.
Never seen it.
Oh my gosh, sacrilege. Rent it now. It's awesome. 80s movies.
One of the straight up lies that I remember being told as a kid, and maybe you do too, Brittany, is that bump on your tongue is because you told a lie. The lie bumps.
Oh, everything was a lie with my mom. I was like, oh, this one spot on my teeth is a little wider than the rest. That's because you lied. I was like, or like, this little part of my nail it's because you lied. How many lies am I telling? Like, everything was because you lied.
Your mama don't trust you.
She don't.
She don't trust you.
No,
You did not earn that.
No, everything when I was a kid, like the bump on the tongue, or like the little white spots that I now realize are supposed to be on your nails. I was like, what are these? It's because you told a lie.
Oh, man. I'm like, I don't want to tell my kid that because God forbid later down the road she gets some weird disease where she's got bumps in her mouth, like herpes, and she's, I don't have to go to the doctor. I just need to stop telling lies.
You're talking about cold sores, right?
sores.
Yeah, cold sores.
Yeah, or not, no, those on your lips, but those little bumps you get, like when a taste bud gets swollen.
My husband calls it a spot. He's like, I have a spot on my tongue. And it's just a little...
It's a lie bump.
It's a lie bump. That's all I ever knew it as.
Yeah.
Some people on the Facebook page said that if their kid doesn't do a good job of washing their hair, they tell them it'll fall out.
I'm guilty of a variation of that.
Yeah?
Well, that's because, Zoe's got curly hair, like insanely curly hair. With her hair being tangled and combing out, I was like, if you don't start doing this, I will cut it. I was like, you don't want mommy to cut your hair. I'm not trained to do this. I would fix it one way and she'd pull it down. Or I was like, do it again. I'm cutting your hair. And she came home the next day and did it. And I was like,
You ready to follow through?
I did, but only I tried just the tiniest bit just to show that I was serious. And then it was so bad because I took her to get her hair done probably a month later and she was just, who cut her hair?
Guilty.
Yeah, that was me. I was like...
She did herself.
Right. I said, ask her why, though. Ask her why her hair was cut. So I made Zoe tell the hairdresser the story of her not following directions.
Right. She was in a ballet show a few years ago, and we were in the dressing room, and there were all these other ballerinas getting ready, and she was only 4, and I'm brushing her hair, and she's steadily about on the verge of tears because it hurt so bad. And I said, honey, if you want to be a ballerina, you're going to have to get used to this because ballerinas have to have perfect bun, and that requires getting all of the tangles out. And I looked at all the ballerinas, and I was like, right? And they were all like, yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
She's right. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Listen to your mama.
You're going to have to be brave. Yeah. Another big one that we hear parents say and that we are guilty of is don't make me come back there. And the counting game.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah. It's like, what happens when you get to 3? Are they aware of the
world
rules?
Explodes.
Yes.
No, mom explodes or dad explodes. But do we make the rules clear ahead of time? Like, don't make me...
You just
1, 2, don't make me get to 3, please, because I don't know what the hell I'm going to do.
Sometimes I wish I could count at people at work.
Oh, my gosh, yes.
I need that report in 3, 2, 2.5.
You talk about not explaining it. Zachary was the one that made me have to explain it because Zachary's on the spectrum. And I was like, I started counting. He's like, but what happens? I was like, what do you mean what happens? He's like, well, you didn't tell me. Like, you're counting, but why?
That's a great question.
That's a great question. We don't know.
Kind of like, just do what I said. Like I had nothing. Just do it. I was like, oh.
That was a very enlightening moment. I've had that enlightening moment where I've had to step back and go, wait, what? I was babysitting before we had kids. I was pregnant and I was babysitting for a friend and the little girl was getting ready for bed and I was like, hey, do you want to go upstairs and brush your teeth? And she said, no. Oh, I meant you got to go brush your teeth.
It wasn't an option.
I didn't mean to make that an option. And I mentioned it to her mom later and her mom said, yeah, with kids, it can't be a question. If it's an option and they say no, that's not really fair if you make them do it. So you better believe with our daughter from the very beginning, it wasn't do you want us, sweetie? It was, okay, now you can either brush your teeth first or you can put your pajamas on first and you get to choose. But you're going to do both.
One of them's going to happen first, but both of them are getting done.
Yeah, get upstairs. It's time to clean your room. But I don't want to. Did I ask if you want to?
Oh my gosh.
I
do that
never
all the time.
asked.
Mm-hmm. Was that a request?
Yeah, that works at school too. It's like, all right, I need you to come to the circle, but I don't want to. Did I ask if you want to come to the circle? Join us, please.
Did I ask what you wanted? I say that. So, did I ask you what you wanted?
That's right.
I did not.
Do you guys
gave you an
remember
instruction.
when your kids were little? Do you remember the whole telling them "bye, I'm gonna leave you" game, and it would make them immediately go, "Don't leave me, don't leave me."
It still works with our daughter.
It works with our daughter, but it hasn't quite started to work with our son yet, because I say, bye, I'm going to leave you. And he just turns around, looks at me and waves, and then turns around and keeps going.
It works with my son. Like he was such a like mama's boy. Like I was like, I'm leaving. Don't leave me. With Zoe, I'm like, all right, I will leave you. She's okay. Bye.
Bye.
Did your parents ever do the, if you don't stop crying, I'll give you something to cry about?
Oh, yeah. That was my dad's go-to.
No, my parents never did that.
Are you serious?
Really?
Seriously, yeah. They never did that.
Oh, maybe that's a like southern northerner thing. Like maybe our southern parents are more likely to beat us than our
Yeah. My mom used that one frequently.
You're making the South sound good.
Sorry.
Honest.
I mean, honestly, I know a lot of people who are pretty proud of that. So whatever.
Yeah, and I would always be like, I will never do this to my kids. Yeah, I think I've said it like twice to mine. They grabbed something they weren't supposed to, and I wiped their hand and acted like I just like chopped it off. And I was like, seriously? I was like, go ahead, keep crying. I'll give you something to cry about.
Yeah, I've definitely used it before, but I use it when our daughter would be crying about something ridiculous, like they want a toy at the store, or, you know, they had to leave from a birthday party because we had somewhere else to go, and they're just hysterical, throwing a tantrum, and then it's like, stop crying. This is not a crying moment. If you keep crying, I'll give you something to cry about.
Yep.
And I'm not talking about like I'm going to physically do anything, but I'm going to give you a punishment because you can't control this
Yeah,
emotion.
and you know, that's probably what most people mean when they say
But we
that.
always took it as I was about to get beat.
Yeah,
You're about to get a whooping.
Well, you know, the thing about it is we have to be clear about threat versus consequence. Right? I think it's when we have empty threats, the problem with the empty threats is it's not clear what the consequence is going to be, or the pretend consequence is clearly a pretend consequence. But if we say, I'm going to give you something to cry about, and by that I mean you will be grounded for a week, or
no television for the rest of the week.
Right. And punishments can backfire totally. Right? I mean, I know for sure there have been times where we've said no television for a week, and something happens and something comes up, and both of us have a work thing that we need to focus on the computers, and we need her to occupied, and she's been occupying herself in her playroom all day because she can't have TV, and we really need that iParent or that
Exactly. Or we send
that
them
electronic babysitter.
We send them to my parents where Disney Junior is right on cue, and it's just like, okay, well, at least we're not letting you watch TV.
Oh my gosh, I've had to do that too, because my mom's like, well, I didn't say that she couldn't watch TV.
Right? Right?
Yeah, we
Still
have
following through.
We have a grandparents episode coming, don't worry.
Yes.
We love you guys.
Love you. Thanks for the help. But
Sometimes the punishments end up hurting us more. And like when we say no TV, our daughter is one of those, okay, so what are we going to do? And then what are we going to do?
Right.
And then what are we going to do? This
Have
morning
all
she
the
was asking
activities.
me, this weekend, what are we doing? I said, well, today we have, this and that. She's like, okay, what about tomorrow? What are we doing? And what about next weekend? I'm like, sweetie, let's just get through today.
Can we just do one
Please?
hour at a time? Sheesh.
yes,
Little planner.
my son's like that. So what's on the schedule? What? Whose schedule? Who? What?
Your 6-year-old schedule, it's pretty packed.
Yeah, you run a cruise ship. The itinerary will be under your door by the time you wake up.
That is legit what it feels like sometimes. So yeah, the thing about the threat versus the consequence, right? I mean, it's the empty threat teaches them that they can get away with it because they know that you're not really going to take them out of this world. They know that you're not really going to starve them to death. They know that you're not really going to ground them for the rest of their life.
But when they get these empty threats that are scary to them, because some of these, let's face it, are kind of scary. Like if you don't stop crying, I'll give you something to cry about.
Yes.
The kids are just scared of their parents, and they're complying because they are scared of their parents, not because they actually care about complying. They just don't want whatever is going to happen to them to happen.
But isn't that every threat? I mean, isn't that the same as if you don't clean your room, I'm gonna throw away your toys? Well, yeah,
But
they're
that's
also
not
scared.
scary.
No, you're right. They understand the consequences. They don't want their toys to go away. I think the real problem is if it's based on stuff like that, they might have that same behavior other places when you're not there to throw away their toys or when you're not there to scare them.
Right. I mean, if it's something that is reasonable, that they know what the consequence is and they know why that consequence is happening and how to maybe correct that behavior, I think maybe they're more likely to comply no matter where they are because it makes sense to them versus well, I'm really scared that mom or dad's going to do this and I'm with mom and dad right now. I mean, like, no kid has ever bullied some kid in front of their parents, right? Because they know they're not supposed to do that, and their parents right there, they're going to act like the perfect little angels they are.
Instead, it teaches them to just be sneaky about it.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly.
And so what do we do? Like, what's the alternative?
Makes sense with our kids.
Makes sense with our kids.
No, I mean, like, rational.
I mean, honestly, I'm so much better about it this time around with the second than I ever was with the first.
Let's face it, he's easier as well.
And you know what? Well, yeah, for
he's a
now.
he.
Right, well.
I was like, I had a he first, and he tricked me. But I thought parenting was easy. I was like, I'm great at this. And then I had my daughter, and I don't know what the hell I'm doing.
Yeah.
Like, it's every day is,
Yeah, what's next?
Yeah.
You know, it's interesting, though, Jordan. You are the youngest of three, and I'm the oldest and of my family and all my sisters. And so I think that's probably why I got more of these empty threats, because they were new to parenting than they were with you, and they like got
by
it
the time
a
they
little bit
got
more.
to you.
They just didn't give a shit anymore. Like, you do whatever. I know that you're going to survive.
Right.
We already raised 2 kids, so you'll be just fine. Just do
But
your
I
thing.
wonder if your older brother got more of those empty threats. It's that level of patience that we build up as parents, and we just have to practice it and practice it and practice it. And when we mess up and we make an empty threat, we have to own it, and we have to say, "Hey, I said you're never watching TV again."
Never again. You got to follow through. Never again.
I've had to backtrack and be like, okay, well, I was exaggerating, but mommy meant.
It was a hyperbole.
Yes, we're going to teach you about this English concept of
vocabulary lesson today.
I don't really have a million of these, but I do have a lot. And you're not really never going to watch TV again, but you will not watch it for quite a while. Like 3 days.
And once you put yourself through that a few times, you don't want to go through that again. And so that is really what teaches you to come back around.
And I've only had to do most of this
caution.
stuff probably once with my oldest. My youngest, we're still doing it because she's my stubborn one. But so it depends on the kid too, because some of them you can give the empty threats and they accept them as is. They're like, oh crap, I don't want to do that.
So what did we learn today?
What did we learn?
That your parent really won't take you out of this world.
No, not on purpose. Anyway.
Hopefully they'll think you're out of this world.
Oh, man. All right. Well, listen, Brittany, thank you for these unbelievably delicious bourbon ball cupcakes. They are out of this world delicious. I hope that our local people who are listening and who live here in Louisville give you a call.
Thank you.
They can reach you at 233
Cake.
Cake. That's amazing. 502-233-CAKE. And you can also be reached at believecakesandmore@gmail.com.
And find her on Facebook and like and follow her.
Yeah, if you mention the Bourbon and Babies podcast, if you place an order with me within the next week, I will give you 10% off your order.
Ooh.
That's a great one. I love that. We will
Just for your
absolutely.
listeners.
Does that go for us too?
I mean, I guess.
Bourbon ball cupcakes for everybody.
That's right. So you have from the time we launch the episode, which will be Monday, October 8th, to a week from then?
Next
episode. Yeah.
A week later. So you got Monday to Sunday.
Okay. We look forward to hearing from you on all the social media. Thanks a lot. This has been
the most delicious episode ever with some fantastic bourbon and even better bourbon ball cupcakes. We'll hear from you soon. Take care.